Hey, beautiful, I'm Cindy, and this is where truth, clarity, and inner power come together. I'd like to ask you something today. Have you ever been in a conversation where you're sharing openly, being yourself, and then something suddenly shifts? Their tone changes, their body language closes off, and the energy gets weird? Or after you had what seemed like a great conversation with somebody, they start ghosting you? You then start questioning yourself. You wonder, did I do anything wrong? Did I say something wrong? You then start to replay conversations over and over in your head. You start to wonder, what's going on? Did I say something unkind? Most likely, you did nothing wrong. There's a strong probability that something you said or simply how you showed up triggered them. Without realizing it, they began to project their own discomforts and unhealed pain onto you. And that's what we're going to unpack today, what it means to unintentionally trigger someone and how to deal with the projections that they put onto you. Now, this isn't about being reckless. This isn't about intentionally triggering somebody or gaslighting people. It's about when somebody else's unprocessed pain gets directed at you and suddenly you're carrying something that isn't yours. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button because this is where we do the inner work that leads to transformation and freedom. When you trigger somebody and they project their unhealed pain onto you, it may be confusing. What's happening is often very subtle and powerful because it's about somebody's unhealed pain and wounds. And unless we name it and are aware of what's actually going on, we end up dimming our own light so that we avoid being misunderstood. The fact is, we will be misunderstood by people. And sometimes there isn't anything we can do about it. We can break down the emotional mechanics so that you can respond with grounded truth and not guilt. And more importantly, not dim your light. The first thing we need to do is to understand the difference between three things: triggers, gaslighting, and projection. Now, what does it mean to be triggered? A trigger is an emotional reaction to something in the present moment that touches a past wound. It's not about what you did, it's about what it stirred in them. And yes, you can trigger somebody unintentionally, but that doesn't mean you're responsible for their unhealed emotions. Being triggered is personal. It's something we're each responsible for noticing, owning, and healing. Gaslighting, on the other hand, is intentional. It's when somebody invalidates your experience or denies reality to control the narrative. It may sound like this: you're making that up, you're too sensitive, or that never happened. While it's important to understand what gaslighting is, it's not the core topic of what we're talking about today. But if you can recognize gaslighting, you can set boundaries and get the support that you need. And you can also understand the differences between triggers, gaslighting, and then projecting. So, what is projection? Projection happens when a person feels something they don't want to feel. And rather than going inward, rather than looking at their own wounding and unprocessed pain, they push it outward onto you. That could be a result of you being somebody who's very clear and your clarity reminds them of their confusion. Or your confidence can highlight their self-doubt. Or your joy makes their numbness more obvious. You don't necessarily intentionally try to trigger somebody, but your presence, something you said, did, or something about you mirrors a part of them that they haven't met or processed yet. Instead of processing it, instead of healing it, they assign to you certain things such as you're too intense, you think you're better than anybody, you always have to be right, or any other thing that they may think that you are doing, which may have never crossed your mind to do. And then suddenly you're defending a version of yourself that doesn't exist, that isn't true, or that you never intended, that never crossed your mind. I know that this is painful because it's happened to me. I've had people project onto me things that I never intended, were never part of my thinking, feeling, reasoning, etc. And yet people still assumed certain things. And people will assume things about you. It's a terrible thing, but it does happen. And it hurts. And why does it hurt? Because you are someone who values harmony, growth, and connection. And that makes you start to shrink. And in this shrinking, many things happen. You start to feel like there's something wrong with you. You start to feel uncomfortable around the other person. You don't know if you should even speak your truth, share an opinion. You start to feel very uncomfortable and you don't know how to respond. In the process, you start dimming your light. You're not fully showing up in authenticity. When that happens, little by little, our confidence starts to become affected because we don't know how to show up, because somebody is projecting onto us. It's important to understand how triggers lead to projection so that we can understand that it's not always about us doing something wrong and that we do not need to dim our light. Now, a projection is often the next step after a trigger. Someone feels something in them, a wound, an insecurity, a shame, and rather than saying, "This is mine," they make it yours. Often, it's not malicious, but it fails to acknowledge their unprocessed wounding and still causes harm nonetheless. And that's why this conversation matters. It's not about placing blame, but it's important to name what's really going on so that you don't carry somebody else's stuff. I'm going to share with you 3 tools to stay grounded when you are being projected on. Number 1, name what's yours and what isn't. When something lands heavy, pause and ask yourself, is this mine to hold, or is it about something unhealed in them? Come at it with centeredness, with presence, and with truth, and silently affirm to yourself, this energy is not mine. I return it to them with clarity, and I hold myself in truth. 2, protect your energy before interactions. Say quietly to yourself before a conversation or an event, I'm grounded in my truth. I do not absorb what does not belong to me. Set the tone from the start, energetically and emotionally, that you are going to be kind, you're going to show up with love, but you will not absorb what is not yours, and you will stand centered in yourself, in your energy, and your authenticity. And 3, use reflective, not defensive language. When someone projects, avoid over-explaining. Instead, reflect with grace and say, that sounds like something that may be more about you than me. Say it with kindness, but say it nonetheless. Because if you don't start to speak from your truth in the moments where it matters, you never will. And I can tell you from personal experience, that will lead to unresolved pain on your part in terms of receiving projections from others that are not yours. I've had it happen to me. It doesn't feel good. And then time goes by and you say to yourself, I wish I would have said that. It's not about being right. It's about being rooted in self-respect. And self-respect is honoring yourself and your true intentionality towards people. Speaking your truth from a heartfelt space is not contradictory at all. You can speak the truth and be heartfelt and be kind, yet be firm and grounded and say, no, that's not what I meant. Or no, that's not it. Now, these 3 tools sound simple, but they're actually very effective. And I wish I would have learned them years ago. But fortunately, we have them now available to us. With that said, let's close the episode with a guided visualization to ground into your heart, your truth, your power, your authenticity. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or soften your gaze. Place one hand on your heart, the other one on your belly, and take several slow and deep clarifying breaths. The reason why we take deep breaths is so that we can stabilize our nervous system and bring in a feeling of safety and clarity. Breath work does do that, and it's scientifically proven. Now that we've set the stage, I'd like to invite you to ground deep into Mother Earth. Feel yourself growing deep roots and continue to breathe deeply. As you're breathing in deeply, imagine beautiful, warm gold light steadily coming into you, and then finding a spot in your heart. And then from your heart, that golden light anchors into you and starts to radiate outward. And as this light is radiating outward, what you're doing is you're radiating yourself, your truth, your presence, your beauty to the world in love, in harmony, in beauty, unapologetically. And imagine yourself being received, being loved exactly as you are. Feel what it feels like. Feel what it feels like to radiate out your fullness and to be received as you are. Continue to breathe this in and feel this warm light in the middle of your chest. And as you do that, now picture that warm light going down deep into the core of Mother Earth. So now what we're doing is we're grounding in this beautiful light, this beautiful feeling that you have in your heart, that you're radiating out to the world. And feel that warm light further anchoring itself in your body, in your heart, in your spirit, so that you can radiate your fullness out in safety, love, and joy. And now, say silently or out loud, I honor my light. I trust my clarity. I do not need to shrink to be safe. I honor my light. I trust my clarity. I do not need to shrink to be safe. Now let's say it a third time to really ground it in. I honor my light. I trust my clarity. I do not need to shrink to be safe. Take a couple of more deep, clarifying breaths in and out, and feel that mantra grounding into your body and mixing with that warm golden light that is grounded deep into Mother Earth, but also radiates out in safety and love, in beauty and authenticity, because this is who you are. Stay in this space as long as you like, and when you're ready, open your eyes. If this resonated with you and you haven't subscribed, please do. I also have a couple of free PDFs. You can find the link in the description below. My gift to you. I would like to invite you to join our potential code workshop launching on June 6th. It's a digital go at your pace course to help you stop shrinking, reclaim your voice, and fully step into your full potential and power. I also offer personal soul clarity sessions. Everything's in the description below. Remember, there's no need to shrink your light, your beauty, your grace, your fullness. Be you without any apology. I'll see you at the next one.